I am quitting trading. Well, I don't know how to start this video because this is just a lot of information, a lot of things to talk about. I don't know how to start it, but you heard it from me. You heard it. I'm quitting. I am quitting trading. That would be crazy to say that I'm quitting. That's just dumb if I were trying to quit. You only fail something if you decide to quit. But if you never quit, you can never fail. Maybe it takes 5 years, maybe it takes 10 years, but I'm never quitting. Quitting is just not me. That's not something what I'll do, because if I'm that passionate about something, I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm gonna do whatever it fucking takes to get what I want and to get my goals, to get my dreams. What I noticed the past week and the last 2 weeks, something's really different. Something's changing in me. I'm trying to do something different. A lot of things are going through my head, and I'm just trying to simplify my strategy, just simplify everything of what I'm doing, and just understand my mistakes. And this is what I'm doing. I've been back testing, I've been journaling a lot to understand what I want to do moving forward from all these losses. Last month I was 80% win rate, but now I'm just doing bad, right? I want to talk about this week, of course, but my main thing I want to talk about is what I'm doing now. I am quitting trading options. Sounds crazy. I am an options trader, but I want to quit trading options. It's honestly something in the back of my head that's been going through the back of my head for many months now. So ever since I started trading, I always kept talking about just quitting options, just going to futures. Basically, I want to move to futures, but every time I looked at futures, it was like, it's too much money. Obviously I had the money. To you do futures, you need to leverage your money more. You need to have more money in your account. So basically I had to spend more money just to use the money. It's not meaning I'm going to use all that money, but I just need to have more money upfront in my account to use futures. But at the same time, they are more leveraged, so you're gonna have to be using and risking more money, and I didn't want to risk that much amount. And plus, I was already comfortable in trading options because that's what I've been doing for years. I've been doing options longer than I have been trading, and that's why I was comfortable with it. Just because I'm not consistent right now, it doesn't mean that's why I'm quitting options. It could be a reason, but I know that I could be consistent in options, but I know the best thing for me to do is not trade options, because it is another factor of why I'm not being as consistent as I want to. Why do we even do options? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Why am I doing options? I'm only doing options because it's less risk, but it is risky at the same time. I don't have to use as much money to use my strategy. I could of course use stocks. I can just day trade stocks, but I would need more money to trade. If I trade the SPY, it's at what, $500, and let's say I wanted 2 shares, that's $1,000. For example, let's just take the SPY right here. I drew it already. Let's say I got it at 590 and I only got 1 share, right? And my target is 592. My risk is 589. So I'm risking $1 to make $2. Let's say I only do stocks. I buy 1 share, which is $500, and if I win, I win $2. If I lose $1. But maybe in my head I'm saying that's too little money, that's too less of money to trade, because if I only want to make $2 a trade, that's nothing, right? I'm trying to find consistency before I increase my size, and I can't do that with stocks, because if I get 2 shares, that's already $1,000 that I'm using, and I don't have $10,000 to get like 5 shares or whatever. It's probably my ego telling me, why am I taking these trades that are like $5, $10? It doesn't make sense. That's why I'm probably doing options, because I can make $20, I can make $40. But if I'm not consistent, I'm just losing money that I don't need to. Might as well just paper trade, right? Until I get consistent. I shouldn't be losing thousands of dollars just because my ego, right? But that's what I've been doing. I also been comfortable with options, so that's why I've been sticking to it. There's a lot of factors and variables when you do options as well, because it's just not about price. It's not if it goes up, it goes down. This is how much you lose, this is how much you win. Obviously that matters, but everything plays into it. The options that you get, the date till expiration that you get, the volume of the options play a huge role. Let's say I got it at this price. I got it at this price, and then I sell it at this price. I probably might break even, or maybe I'll lose. Why does it make sense? But because of the candles going down, because of the volume dying, I can lose money. I can be negative. It doesn't make sense. Let's say my stop loss was 589 and I got it right here, and I was trying to tell myself, this area where I get out, I'm gonna lose 20%. But if the volume is dying and it gets out around here, I can be losing 30%. When you do play options, your risk is never like a solid number. You never really know what it is. If the volume is different, if your delta that you chose was different, that's why you have to get in the money or at the money contract. But since I get like 0.3 because it's too expensive, then that's why it's like going to be not the best. Why am I even doing this? Why am I signing up myself for failure already when I get bad deltas? It's because I like options. I've been doing it, so that's why I'm comfortable with it. I used to take 2 contracts, 3 contracts because I always just wanted to scale. If I'm risking so much, what's the point of scaling? That's why I just went to 1 contract. But even then, $20, $30 is still on the higher side if I'm not consistent. Might as well just paper trade, right? Or just risk $1 or $2 every single trade. But that's probably my ego telling me to do that. And every single person that trades the index, the indices, the SPY, the QQQ, the NASDAQ, the ES, they all have one thing in common. They never trade options with it. I haven't seen anybody trade options with SPY or QQQ. It's just not really that common. Maybe they do take trades, but most of the time when people are doing options, it's because they're doing with stocks. And that's why I always kept thinking about futures. I think about futures multiple times, but I just never did the switch. And now today is the day I switched to futures. You heard it. I'm switching to futures. I don't give a fuck no more. I don't care. I know it's more money. I know it is more money. I had to risk more. So why am I even doing futures at all? Why am I even doing futures if I had to risk more money? I'm doing futures because I don't want to deal with all this bullshit, options chain, deltas, volume, all this type of stuff. I knew from the beginning. Everyone says you should never do options until you master stock trading. And I just jumped to options at first. I just went to options because I already did options in the past. So might as well just do options now. All these variables, all these factors in options is just affecting my trading. I could even draw this thing right here. This risk reward thing right here. I draw it a lot of times. This could be a 2-to-1, right? But if I do options, I never know what it actually is. I always draw these lines or these risks amount right here. It says 2.03. But every time I do options, it shows like a great risk reward, 3, 4. But when I actually trade, it's only a 2-to-1 or maybe it's a 1-to-1. That's the thing. It's because options are just really different. This graph right here is only price volume. It doesn't factor in options. That's the only thing. So what I want to do is just do futures and just give up options. It's going to be the same strategy. Everything is going to be the exact same, just doing futures instead of options. And I believe I can do a lot better. It's because I don't have to deal with the options volume and all these factors that can affect my trade. I know exactly how much I'm risking. I know exactly my profit target. I know that I can get the proper risk reward that I want. I'm just putting myself in a disadvantage if I'm just doing options on the indices because the volume isn't the same as stocks. Because usually when there's a break and retest, there's usually bigger moves, their volumes is more insane. So that's why I don't really see a value to do options on the indices. Going back to TradingView, I do want to break down the trades I took this week. They're all losses. Yeah, these losses were insane. I don't know what the hell these are. 38%, 44%. These are just way too much. Moving forward, I told myself I'm only going to take 2 trades. But now when I'm thinking about it, I'm only going to take 1 trade a day. I want to be the one and done trader. If I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. I'm not taking more trades. I don't care what the market is showing me. I'm only going to take 1 trade and I'm going to walk away. I don't care anymore because I can't keep doing this. I can't keep stacking up so many losses randomly. And when I win a trade, I'm done for the day. Why do I do that? Why am I taking 1 trade and I'm walking away, but every time I lose a trade, I keep taking more trades and then the losses are just stacking up? It just doesn't make sense. Although I can get faked out and I take a trade and I win, but I'm basically risking more. If I lose, then I'm just gonna add more losses to my thing. So now that I keep looking back at my trades, I'm basically saying if I got faked out, then I just got a bad entry. I didn't execute to the best of my abilities and I just lost that day. I just gotta walk away, understand that I should be doing better. I should execute better on my trade. But I'm not gonna keep sitting here and trading and taking 3 trades and losing. If you see, every time I take more than 1 trade, I lose. Except for some days, but every time I take more than 2 trades, I keep losing. At least except for these 2 months because I just been doing better at those months. But every time I take more than 2 trades, majority of the time I keep losing. And I don't want to do that no more. I'm just tired of it. So just 1 trade a day and I'm done. And what I like to say is how you do one thing is how you do everything. Keep staying disciplined, keep staying consistent, and let's just get 1% better every day. And I'll see you in the next one.